Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel and some more Birthright videos for you today. So today we got a 2-for-1 just because these are both relatively short, and so we're going to do create holding and create province here as the domain actions for today's video. So create holding is definitely going to be another one of those common ones you're going to be using a lot, especially as you expand your territory or just want to get more influence of various kinds in your own territories. So this one again has a base success of 10 up. It's a domain action and base cost of at least 1 gold bar. So we'll see that that can go up. So, but it's pretty simple overall, right? And exactly what it sounds like, create a holding. So law, temple, guild, or source. And some of those might be class specific, right? So a regent wishing to establish a holding in a province where they have no holdings may create a holding. This gives the regent a holding 0, of course. They are then free to rule or contest in order to increase the influence of their holdings. So again, contest, which we just saw in a previous video, is a great way to neutralize or start eradicating the influence of opposing holdings, but ruling is another way to get yours up, and we'll get to that in just a little while as we work our way through the series of actions here. But creation of a holding can be opposed or supported by any regent with a similar holding in the province or by the province ruler. So, right, it's not just a free ride here with just a an uncontested role. So anybody really that has any sort of relevancy to where this province, or sorry, not this province, but this holding is going to be created, can interfere and really mess with some plans. So this is one where there's often not to say a bidding war, but in a province where multiple players in the campaign, if you're going with the everybody rules a different domain route, for example, will probably want to chip in one way or the other, depending on what the plans are. So the interfering region's holding or province rating is added to or subtracted from the success number without spending any regency points. So if you're the ruler, that's a pretty cool thing, right? Especially as if it's a larger or higher level province, right? Very densely populated, so you kind of already get a built-in pretty solid built-in modifier, but it's going to be harder for you to influence things in sparsely settled or barely settled province. So it kind of makes sense. And then, however, any concerned party can also spend regency points to influence the success roll. So, right, base cost of a gold bar, but then also really, depending on how much regency points want to be chipped in, that's going to drastically up and down the success rate. So this could go, very rarely is it just going to stay at 10 plus, right? It could go very low if you're really pouring in the points to make sure that you get a good success roll, or this could go very, very, very much in the other direction, right? If other opposing elements really don't want you to succeed. So, of course, it's always nice when you do succeed, even when the enemy pours resources in, because, well, you made them spend a resource and they didn't get anything from it. But create holding definitely going to be used quite a bit. Definitely want to also build up a good solid store of regency points for when you need to actually create these holdings, because again, depending on where it is, there's going to be somebody contesting it as far as chipping in opposing resources. Very rarely maybe will someone be on your side to it, but it could happen. But that's the fun thing, when in this game here where you got multiple opposing forces, and sometimes just to mess with an opposing player, you might sort of have the enemy of my enemy is my friend kind of situations going on. So that could be really fun. Now, create province is a rare one because really this should happen maybe like once in a campaign, if at all. So basically everything is already divided into provinces, so barring a few sort of wilderness unexplored areas. So a small amount of unclaimed land exists in and around Cerealia. So for example, and I'm going to butcher the pronunciation, but Thale or Taili on the northern shores of Aduria, and the island of Torova, Temilatin. If this action is successful, the regent creates a level 0 province. Let's try and study that. Level 0 province for their domain. The cost to create a province is tripled if it doesn't join a province already under your control. So naturally, the above examples are on different continents, so that's going to be a pretty expensive prospect here. Lands separated by water are not considered adjoining, naturally. No other regions can interfere in this one, though, right? So that's an interesting one. So it's really just you versus the dice, essentially, in this. So we move along here. So before rolling for success, the DM and the player should agree on the boundaries of the province. So small islands really should just be a province in and of themselves, but larger land masses do have to be partitioned. And then where appropriate, just to make it easy, right? Because there's already so much going on in the game. Just use like appropriate geographical features as I suggest here. So rivers, etc., mountain ranges, good natural boundaries. And so again, getting back to the cost here. So let's see here. So they really don't mention a base cost for this, but that's something, again, maybe just house rule it there, but certainly at a minimum, throwing in at least a gold bar, I would say, but then obviously tripling it if it doesn't join, as they say here. So, but again, that's I think up to player and DM discretion, just based on, again, where it's located, how far away it is from your main domain, and really just is it completely untouched by settlers of any kind? Is there already some sort of population there? Is it again on a wholly different continent? You got to factor in like supplies and stuff like that. If you're gonna settle that, are you gonna have trade going back and forth from your main sort of parts of your domain, your main provinces, to this new area? So effectively, you're creating almost like a colony here, and obviously there should be lots of startup costs there. So really just factoring in what you, I think, would feel is fair there with between you as the DM and your players. But also, again, just for players, this shouldn't be just a like a whimsical thing as far as, we're just going to throw a gold bar here and, look, we created a province far, far away. So should be some serious investment here too. Also, I think we've always done it too. There should be, because just by drawing a province on a map doesn't really create the province. So obviously it's going to start at level 0, but if you tend to actually get it settled, right, the player should have to spend a little bit more time and resource into figuring out a way. Well, how are we going to get people to go out there? So in other words, you probably maybe need ships. What is the goal of trying to settle this province? Are we just looking for natural resources, etc.? What are we trying to do here? So there should be some sort of extra effort required into planning all that. But again, a fun one, especially because everything's already mostly defined as far as provinces go. So those few rare instances where you get to essentially create a province should be a special experience, but also again should require a little bit of effort on the part of the player to really figure out what they want to do. But it gives a chance for creativity too, right? You get to essentially draw some new lines on the map and figure out what you want that to be. Creating the very first rough settlement or village, maybe it grows eventually into a town, etc. So again, could be a fun story, but then once it's up and running, that's where opposing influence can start coming in. So it's nice that no one can interfere on the initial creation of the province, but once it's up and running, it's business as usual as far as other players maybe getting involved. So a fun one there. So let us know, guys, in the comments some of your favorite instances of when you've created holdings and how that's gone, as far as like if there's been any bidding wars or influence wars, we should rather say, between adding or subtracting to your success roll. But for those who've done the create province, where did you create it? What did you create? And how did that all play out in your campaign? Hit us up in the comments, like, comment, subscribe. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and we'll see you in the next one.